As an artist who mainly draws original content, I always thought the natural next step for me was writing and drawing a webcomic. So that's what I did. I had a story in the draft, a new tablet, and motivation. Before I get more into that, let us go back to the very beginning. Many, many, many years ago when our ancestors discovered how to. Fine! Fine! Don't click off! Don't click off. I'm not gonna go back that far, fine. Like, it started when I was around 12, I guess, because I actually can't remember well, but I guess let's say it was when I was around 12. I discovered this app called Tapastic where you could read a variety of webcomics, each one with like unique art styles. And at that time, I could barely understand English, like barely read it, barely understand it, but I could not stay away from the app. I was reading before going to school, after it, on weekends, like literally any time, any like free time that I had was spent on reading webcomics. And I'm not sure if I've always been like that, like reading and stuff, but reading webcomics genuinely, like, definitely confirmed my love for stories. So, yes, you could call me a story liker, or even better, a story enjoyer. While I was reading the webcomic as an artist, naturally, it wasn't long before I thought, I want to do that too. Like, I want to draw webcomics too. Wait, by the way, hi. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kyodaya, and this is my corner of the internet. And yes, it took me 3 years to make a one shot, and I hated it. You might be wondering, why would you make a webcomic if you don't like it? Why did it take you so long? Bro, relax. Okay, relax. I'm gonna tell you. First of all, um I started making the webcomic when I was fresh out of art school for animation, and I wanted to make a project that I couldn't finish while I was there. And on top of that, I always wanted to get better at writing, so I thought, let's start small. The goal was to make like a short teaser in 3D. I know I'm talking about webcomics and I'm just talking about teaser, but don't I'm getting to it. Okay, we're going there. So the goal was to make a short teaser in 3D, just to make my idea come to life, like nothing fancy. And since I'm not that good at modeling, like 3D modeling and stuff, it took me like few months to make the 3D models and to make the outfit and the props and stuff like that. Then I hand painted the texture because I love arcane. Thank you. And then I started to model the environment. And I was thinking, well, this is going to take me quite some time because, I'm not good at it. So I'm going to ask my friend to do the rigging for the characters in the meantime. And this is where things started to go sideways, actually. My friends told me that she was like, I can't do the rigging on the models that you did because the way you model them is like not appropriate for rigging and animation. So I was like, oh well, okay. So I went back to modeling and my laptop was like, no. And then Blender was like, no, 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 no. and for, and for some reason, for some unknown reason, the file where the main character was and still is actually is completely freezed and still is. Like the file, if I open it right now, it's freezed and I can't do anything and my laptop is gonna die on me. So I couldn't touch it without like having Blender or my laptop completely crash out. Mind you, my laptop was purposely brought for this kind of task. Like it's a laptop specially for this kind of task. So it's not like my laptop can't do it. So I don't know what's happening. I tried to fix it, but again, I'm not that good. So it didn't take me long to give up. But at least I have new content for my portfolio because I wanted to do texturing, so I had the textures already on the models. I just couldn't rig them, so at least I have good pictures. But then what do I do with the project itself? Should I just move on to the next? No, obviously not. Because I liked the project and my ego actually couldn't take it. Like my ego couldn't take the fact that I didn't finish it. So, and you see, my ego is this is a problem. Like my ego is a problem regarding art in general. So, and on top of that, I don't know if it's ego related, but I want to be the kind of person that talk their shit and actually do something about it. I don't want to be just like bragging to my friends, hey, I have this new project, and then I do nothing about it. I don't want to be like that. And that's where I remembered, oh wait, I know how to draw. Let's do a webcomic instead. And also, while having that kind of thought process, I was like, making a webcomic will definitely be faster than making a 3D teaser, because I don't have to do the animation, the rigging and the lighting and the compositing, the editing and stuff like that. So it will be faster. Remember the title of this video? Yes, anyways. So I started working on my favorite part, actually, research. I love researching for any kind of project. Like, I love that shit. I don't know why, but I love, like, tapping on my laptop and be like, oh my god, this? Oh, I didn't know. Wow. Wow, okay. And this? Oh, wow, I didn't know either. Like, I love researching. I don't know why. I love researching. So I kind of lied. I'm a liar. I did enjoy some part of it. So yeah, I spent weeks on Pinterest, like trying to find the perfect concept images and stuff. And when I was finally done, it was time for the real shit, storyboarding. This is the part that took me almost a year and a half. And I stopped working on it at some point, but I'm getting ahead of myself. If I recall correctly, I'm probably not recalling correctly, I started storyboarding and it was fine. Like, I didn't feel anything about it. It was just storyboarding. And since it's not my favorite task, I would take breaks and stuff, but it wasn't that bad. I don't remember being that bored either. But obviously this didn't last long either. We wouldn't be here otherwise. Um One thing you gotta know about me is I always have new project. Okay? I always have a new idea. And it's kind of a curse. Like, I'm not happy about it. I'm just telling you, like, I'm not happy about it. And you might think that's actually great because you always know what to draw. You always, like, you don't have that blank page syndrome or else stuff. But this is a curse in disguise, because for the life of me, I cannot finish any of them. Like, any of them. If I tell you about all my projects, all of them are just in the concept/idea phase. None of them is actually, like, on paper. None of them. Like, none of them. None of them. None of them. Yes. And I'm not telling you how much I have because it's just shameful. And because I have new ideas all the time, I want to work on them immediately. So, this is what happened. I had a new idea, and from then on, I was so obsessed with it that doing anything else was just, like, killing me inside. It was, like, so boring. It was the beigest, softest pillow I've ever. Okay, sorry. I was still, like, completely obsessed with this new project. So, like, I stopped working on the webcomic altogether. And if you go on my, like, Instagram page, you'll quickly notice that that I mainly draw, like, the 4 same characters over and over again, because this is the project that I am still obsessed with to this day. So obviously I'm not insane. So I mean, actually I don't know about that, but obviously I finished the project now. So I would come back to it from time to time to draw a few pages. But eventually, I stopped for a whole year. Actually, I did not touch the webcomic, like, not even look at its way. Completely put it aside. I think at some point I almost, like, lost the file. Not lost it, but, like, I didn't know where it was on my laptop. So, and I didn't care really because I was obsessed with doing something else. Um, so this was in 2024. So in 2022, I was making the 3D models. In 2023, I started to make the webcomic, like storyboarding and stuff. And in 2024, I completely stopped working on it until one of my friends was like, "Oh, and what are you like working on right now? Um, and what about the webcomic that you said you were doing?" And I was like, "Oh, you didn't have to talk about that." Like I was like, "Oh, um, yes."
Yes.
I remember saying something about me talking my shit and doing something about it. So, may I say out of shame? Out of shame? Out of shame, I came back to it in early 2025, and also because I kept thinking about it because I was like, I'm talking my shit and I do nothing about it, and it's just like I don't like being like that, and I was like, I'm working on other projects, but I never finished this one, so I was like, I was iffy about it. I kept just thinking about it. I was like, I wasn't proud of myself. I wasn't proud of myself. Even if it's not like I don't get paid for any of this, but I wasn't proud that I completely put it aside just to, be obsessed with something else. And you might think it's actually fine to do that. Like it's fine to just put aside a project that you don't really like working on, especially if you're focused on something else or anything. Like I still agree that it's completely fine, but for some reason I couldn't just move on. I was stuck thinking I was someone again who doesn't stick to their words and stuff, and I felt bad about it. Like I said, I was not proud. So, especially because I worked on it for such a long time. I did 3D models. I made like an environment. I did not finish it, but I started working on it. And I couldn't see the end of it. And, I just didn't like that feeling. So at that point, I made my mind and I was like, no matter what, I'm going to finish the webcomic this year. Like in 2025, I'm finishing this webcomic. Not to show it off, not because I like it, but because I said I will and I can. So, I'm doing that. So to keep me motivated, I started posting more about it on my Insta. So my followers could see that I was working on it and start to expect a little out of it. So if I ever give up, basically, I would feel ashamed to tell them, "Hey, yo, the thing you see me working all the time on, yeah, I gave up. Let's move on." I know it's weird. But shame does work on me. So it does. So, I might use it. I might as well use it. Now, the reason why you clicked on this video and why I didn't like it. I just don't like drawing like that. I just don't like drawing like that. That's literally it. I don't like drawing like that. Like, as an artist, I never really questioned my relationship, quote unquote, with drawing. What I expect from it, why I do it and stuff. I just know I enjoy it and that's it. So I didn't realize that I could or could not enjoy different ways of drawing, which is insane, by the way. I was in art school and for animation. Okay, so I and I did not like the 2D animation classes. So I should have seen it coming. I might be insane. I said I wasn't insane. I might be. Because this whole video can be resumed by skill issue and we would be done. For example, some artists prefer to draw illustration instead of doing car design or concept art for props. And again, I see how logic this sounds. But for some reason, I didn't think of it like that at the time. I thought, well, if I like drawing, then I like drawing anything. Without even considering my own history with drawing in art school and how I did not like doing car design. I think one aspect no one talks about regarding webcomics is how repetitive the job is. To me, that's my opinion. I think it's as repetitive as to the animation. You have to draw the same characters over and over again in slightly different poses to like suggest movement. And this is the part that I hate. Like, I don't like that at all. Drawing the same stuff slightly differently over and over and over again. Like, I hate that stuff. That's why I don't like also doing character design, because it's like you take the same character and you just turn it over. And it's like, no, I don't like, I don't know. I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it at all. It's just annoying to me. I don't know if it's a character trait of mine or if it's my, me being neurodivergent. But I can't do that for long before it breaks my mind. And I had already again experienced this when I was in art school. For another reason, we could choose between 2D and 3D animation after being introduced to each one. And I choose 3D animation because I did not like the process of 2D animation. Mind you, I love watching 2D animation. I love it. I love it. It's beautiful. I love it. But making it, that's no. Let other do it. Not me. Y'all have fun without me. Okay. It's 2D animation is so tedious and boring to me personally. So it's just something I cannot do. And I never realized how 2D animation and webcomics are, even, again, it sounds so logic right now, but I never realized that until I started making my own webcomic. And the worst part is, the shame is coming back again. The worst part is I already had a webcomic before doing this one. And I did not have all that thought process that I'm talking right now did not occur. It did not occur. I don't know what. Okay, I might be insane. Damn. Yeah. Anyways, the first webcomic that I ever had, I discontinued it, because it wasn't well written at all. Like at all. I was 16 when I wrote it, and I thought I ate, and I did not. There was so many food left on the table. Yes. And and so I discontinued it because I felt like held back artistically. The stuff I'm talking this whole video, it never came up. Never. Maybe because also I didn't care enough. Because I did not care enough. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. So while I was making the webcomic, so this year when I finally did I locked in and I did from page, if I remember correctly, again I might not, I did from page 15 to 47, and there's 47 pages in total. When I was doing that, I came to dislike sitting at my own desk to draw the webcomic. I would literally force myself to draw one more line and one more line and one more line until I couldn't stand sitting in front of my laptop. And I remember being so fed up at the end. At some point, I was even questioning if I even liked to draw. I enjoy it, but sometimes I feel like I like it less, and it's kind of scary. And I wonder, do I feel like this new kind of, not hatred, but me being uncomfortable with the fact that I'm drawing, not uncomfortable, but the fact that I like it less? Is it because of the webcomic? Or is it because I'm genuinely coming to my end, I guess, of liking to draw? Maybe I need a break. Maybe I need to stop drawing for a while and come back to it when I feel like it. Actually, I don't know. That's actually what I'm doing right now. I haven't drawn for at least 2 weeks. I mean, I know I'll find my way back to it. and draw again because I still like to. I mean, I believe I still like to draw, at least as of right now. Conclusion: I don't like drawing webcomics, and making them is not for everyone. It's hard and tedious, so if you don't enjoy the process, it's just going to be a pain in your ass like it was in mine. Let's be for real, like, let's be for real. There's so many ways one can tell a story. I feel like most artists that have OCs only consider webcomics when it comes to telling their story. But there's so many other ways to do that. I feel like it's a shame. You can do CD dramas, PMVs, zines, a blog that one or multiple characters update from their perspective of the story, writing songs, making an Insta account of your character, and every post could be like an update on the story, some kind of stuff, a video game, even though it's kind of hard, pretty hard, a D&D campaign, or a graphic novel. You don't even have to polish it. You can just post the draft and a few drawings, and maybe people will try to like polish it with you, and I think that would be cool. I've heard people have used like puzzles and tarot cards, which is insane because I don't even know how that works. But I think that's really cool. That's a really cool way to tell a story. Or you can even go back to the old classic oral storytelling. By the way, I'm not saying any of this is easy. Like, they're all tedious in their own way, but they all have the like potential to hold your story beautifully, I think. And it's a shame that we all collectively decided to be boring about this. I mean, I'm not trying to dunk on you. Sorry, but I think it's quite boring. Like, why every like OC artist, including me, choose to do like webcomics? It's there's so many ways. Like I said, there's so many ways to do that. I want to know more about everyone OCs. I want more diverse story to be out there. More like, not diverse stories, but more diverse medium of telling a stories to be out there. Let's be, a little weird. Let's think outside the box and try something a little like funky, a little stinky, like, like, I guess, I'm trying to say, let's try to like nerd out and try weird stuff and not care if it's gonna make profit or not. Let's not care about like the tradition and how it's usually done. You might be thinking, yeah, but I want my project to be like really awesome and like life-changing and stuff. Well, then do it. Your project doesn't need to generate money to be cool or awesome or life-changing. For example, I started this like channel to post more about my OCs and have a creative outlet outside of posting on Instagram, because I don't like posting on Instagram and I don't make money. I don't make any money out of this channel. I don't think I ever will, actually. It's not even one of my goals. But having a dedicated place for my creativity to be out there and to be like free made my life more enjoyable, especially during these past few years, if you know what I mean. Anyways, now I've learned my lesson, and I'm pretty sure I'll just be a webcomic reader from now on. I personally want to explore and try like oral storytelling, and the one like with the character that has an Insta account, and I think that would be cool. I don't know how to put that in practice, but I think that would be cool. Also, do not expect more of this kind of videos on my channel. I just wanted to close this chapter of my art journey like properly. I really don't know what I'm gonna do with all of the like Photoshop files and concept art on Pinterest. I guess I'm a little sad because I spent so much time and energy on it. Now that it's over, I feel a little weird. I used to wish this project to be over so bad, or even wished that I never started it, and now I have to say goodbye to the characters, and I just don't know what to do with myself. I can already like hear you saying, "Don't you have other projects?" You said you always have other projects. Well, yeah, I do, but I guess now I'm a little scared that I won't like working on them, since I've been struggling to drawing these days, and I Now that I know that there is some mediums that I don't like, I'm afraid to choose the wrong medium for the other stories and then get fed up with them. Because I remember being so passionate about this story, the story of my webcomic, the second one. I remember being so passionate about it at first, and that passion died the more I worked on it, and I don't want that to happen again because it's just I mean, even now, even if I don't like the project, I didn't like feeling less and less interested about it. That was not an enjoyable process. But I guess it just means that I have to be more conscious about what medium I choose when it comes to the project that I make to make sure that I still enjoy them along the way. I have many things I want to do, so I guess I just put this webcomic on like a mental shelf in my head and see it as something that I can be proud of. It's not perfect. I struggled and I didn't enjoy every second, but I made it. From start to finish, it's mine, and I'm glad. I'm really glad I could tell this story, no matter how small and simple it is. I did it.